grew up in the National Baptist Church, which is one of the historically black denominations in the U.S. And I grew up at an age where I was able to be influenced directly by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, by Reverend Dr. James Forbes. So that is how I learned to preach. Within the black church, we call this the preaching hour. I've been in MCC long enough to know that I will be preaching to myself by the end of the hour. So I will sit down somewhere before we get to that moment. But I will not promise you how long. I will stand before you and attempt to share with you the word that God has given me. I want to acknowledge and to give honor to my son, the Reverend Charles Nyhart. One of the best decisions that Reverend Elder Donnie Smith and I ever made was to adopt Charles as our son and to allow him to serve as our, oh God, that sounds so old now. And I am so thrilled to be able to stand now in his pulpit. It is truly an honor. Will you pray with me? God, open my heart. Open my mind. Open my mouth. So that all that I might say here will reflect not my intention and desire, but may fully reflect your will, your word, your truth. In the name of all that is holy, I pray. Amen. Amen. Another thing about being from a black church is I'm not accustomed to preaching to a silent section. So I don't know what your usual style is here, but I just want to encourage you to laugh, but only if I say something that's funny. And if there's something that I might say with which you agree, I invite you to say amen, amen. Or mm-hmm, or If I happen to say something with which you disagree, you may remain silent. For my scripture today, our gospel lesson, I hear three things. Listen, get up, and do not be afraid. If there were ever three words of instruction, command, and promise that I need to hear right now, it's probably these. Listen, get up, do not be afraid. Let me set the scene for the gospel lesson. As we heard, it is now 6 days after Peter's confession that Jesus is the Messiah. And then Jesus' rebuke of Peter's understanding of what being the Messiah means. And so now, 6 days later, Jesus takes Peter, James, and John up a mountain where Jesus is transfigured before their very eyes. as the very human person that they love and that they follow, they also can now perceive his heavenly glory in a way that they couldn't see it before. And then Jesus is joined in the midst of his transfiguration by Moses and Elijah, symbols of the law and the prophets. So this has been an emotionally charged week for Peter. I imagine that Peter has felt thrilled by the affirmation of his confession. He has felt hurt by Jesus' rebuke, even confused by what Jesus is saying, and certainly confused about the future. And now on the top of this mountain, he is also dazzled, perplexed, and probably more than a little overwhelmed, but also perhaps excited to be at this place and time to witness this event. He was so excited, I imagine, that he actually offered to build a memorial to the moment so that he and others would always know that this is the place where God is. It is a confusing, exciting, and uncertain time. I'm not sure that Peter knew entirely what to make of it all. But I do feel confident that Peter, James, and John were changed by the experience of witnessing the transfiguration of Jesus. A change came over them. It would have been impossible for them to have seen Jesus in the splendor of his glory and then stay the same. Yes, I believe that the disciples went up the mountain being one way and came down it being quite another. The transfiguration story can be hard for Peter, James, and John, or anyone else to interpret, including me. So I'm really grateful to biblical commentator David Lowes, who offers an interpretation that at least makes sense to me. Lowes says that in Matthew's telling of the story, the transfiguration is a turning point. The time when Jesus, already confessed as Messiah and revealed in glory, now turns steadfastly toward Jerusalem, where he will offer a different picture of the Messiah and of glory than anyone then or now expected. And so placed at this point in the church year, this reading links us to 3 other Christian church seasons at the same time. Transfiguration Sunday closes out the season of light and revelation that we call Epiphany. It signals the descent down the mountain and the road to Jerusalem that we will travel in Lent. And it also anticipates the glory of the Easter resurrection. For all these reasons, we may, like Peter, not have a clue what to make of it all. And so we lean back on various traditions, interpreting transfiguration in light of either Epiphany, Lent, or Easter. After all of us at least want to observe this day to recognize that it And if we allow that mountaintop experience to speak to and even to change us in this time and place. We are living in interesting times. Amen? Amen. Our nation is filled with confusing events, divisive rhetoric, increased tension, and an unclear picture of the present, to say nothing of the future. Some are scared to death of what is happening. Some find it to be the most exciting moment in their lives. There are few people in the country today who do not sense that a cultural, political, and social shift is happening right now in the United States. And that it has caught all of us unprepared. Come on now. Amid all of this, I find myself regularly drawn back to those 3 words of instruction, command, and promise. Listen. Get up. Yes. And do not be afraid. Yes. The instruction is this. Listen. I suspect we need this call to listen because the things Jesus says are often so difficult for us to hear. Not because Jesus asks too much of us, though some of us might feel that way, but because what he says is so counter to the conventional wisdom that loudly surrounds us all the time. So let's listen for the voice of Jesus. The Bible tells us that Jesus cared deeply about the social causes around him. Instead of saying all lives matter, Jesus said Samaritan lives matter. Children's lives matter. Gentile lives matter. Jewish lives matter. Women's lives matter. Lepers' lives matter. And I believe that if he was still here with us today, Jesus would also say black lives matter. So no matter what you might hear about Jesus elsewhere, we have to remember for ourselves the words. We have to remember for ourselves the action. We must recall that even though Jesus loves everyone, even to the point of dying for everybody's sins, he also went out of his way to intentionally help specific groups of people. The alienated, mistreated, and those facing injustice. And so it is the voice of Jesus that I seek to hear as I listen for the sounds of justice around me. But instead of the bellowing peal of justice bells, what I am hearing is that transgender children can no longer expect to be safe at school. Amen. Marriage equality and women's rights are no longer guaranteed. The United States houses more people in prison than any other country on the earth. Yet, having just 4% of the world's population, the United States houses 22% of the world's prisoners. The United States imprisons a larger percentage of the black population than South Africa did at the height of apartheid. Alternative facts carry more significance than substantiated truth. The free press is the enemy. Religious exemption may soon take us back to the days of Jim Crow, once again misusing faith to legalize discrimination against blacks, women, the poor, Muslims, Latinos, queers, the disabled, immigrants, and other groups too. Amen. Access to health care is once again becoming available only to the few. Even Sesame Street is at risk. I hear all of this and more at the same time as I hear that Russia is this nation's new best friend. As I hear that large corporations are flourishing and that the American stock market is reaching all-time highs. Rarely, though, do I now hear any sound of justice. The command is clear. Get up. Except that it's not just get up as in arise for the reading of the gospel. Rather, the Greek verb that Matthew uses here is the same one the angels declare to the women at the empty tomb. He is not here. He has been raised. So really, get up means be raised up, or even be resurrected. And as I hear it, it's wake up and be the change. In 1967, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote, "Nothing could be more tragic than to live in these revolutionary times and fail to achieve the new attitudes and the new mental outlooks that the new situation demands. Like Rip Van Winkle, some of us might also be sleeping through this revolution that will alter the course of human history. Our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant, and to face the challenge of change." I wonder, what will it take for us to hear Jesus calling all of us to wake up, get up, and become the change that is needed in these confusing times? Perhaps it might feel like one more thing we can't fit into our busy schedule. One more thing we can't quite manage. But we recall that God's commands also carry power to fulfill the command. Think of Genesis, just 3 verses into the Bible. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God is saying today, let there be change, to be about the works of mercy and compassion to which God always calls us. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. Amen. Participating in social justice is a Christian tradition inspired by Jesus, not by liberal causes, populist agendas, media platforms, lawmakers, or mainstream or alt-right fans. Amen. It's a deeply spiritual practice. Instead of being motivated by political affiliations, financial gain, power, pride, control, or our own secular motivations, we should be active participants for the sake of following Jesus, for the purpose of glorifying God, and doing this by and through our acts of justice, empowerment, and love. Several of our churches in MCC, they already got up. MCC Toronto in Canada and several churches in the UK, they are running and supporting refugee centers. There's a church in the US that's doing a similar thing. Unfortunately, we live at a time where I cannot reveal the name of that MCC or its city, because to do so would place the church and the pastor at risk right now of invasion and arrest by our federal authorities. What I can tell you, though, is that this church is becoming part of the sanctuary movement. They're planning to offer safe space, housing, clothing, and food for immigrants who are at risk of being returned to their home countries. Not because they've broken any laws, but just because they are here. Let me tell you about just two people that have motivated the church to join the sanctuary movement. This is a couple, and the church is surrounding them through these hard times. It's a Muslim lesbian couple. Both are legally here studying on student visas. Yet they face the strong possibility that they will have to drop out of school and go into hiding from U.S. authorities, because if they are found, they can be sent back to their country in the Middle East at any time, just because of their religion. And if they do get sent back, their families have already promised them that they will face a certain death. And the government of this country no longer seems to care. The people of these MCCs have been changed for good because of their engagement in such acts of compassion and love. And I believe that you too, Church of the Trinity MCC, can be changed for good. You recently began a partnership with the Liberty Africa Youth Foundation MCC, one of our emerging churches in Kampala, Uganda. Wendy LaChance can give you all the details about the partner church and ways that you can become involved beyond the generosity that you're giving. So now I will just say thank you. And I will just pray here right now, or if this church can hear the voice of God calling you to become the change that our world is longing for, you will not be alone. Millions of people across the country and indeed around the world have heard the call, and we are rising up. We have received and we believe God's promise. Do not be afraid. This is the hallmark of the gospel. Words perhaps never more needed than now. We may experience different fears. The threat of terrorism or the arrest of a child. The prospect of job loss or reduction in retirement benefits. The potential to betray our national identity and values. The fading possibility of a better future for our children. Dread illness, unexpected death, and the list goes on. But you know what? Fear is part of the common fabric of our lives. And all these different fears, those named and those unnamed, the gospel reply is the same. Because God is God of the past, present, and future. We need not be afraid. When we trust God for our individual and communal good, and when we believe that God is with us always, we need not fear. We all grow afraid at times, and at such times it's important for us to remember that God did not create us for death, but for life. Not to remain entombed, but for resurrection possibilities. God does not want us to be paralyzed by fear, but to move forward in faith, even and especially in these uncertain times. And to do so with divine courage and glorious confidence. Amen. Listen. Get up. Do not fear. These words are for you. These words are for me. The story doesn't end with only the courage of one man defying the world and overcoming death on the cross. It continues with the promise that God raised this one from the dead so that all of us might have hope that there is more to this life than we can see. That God will be with us every step of the way, and that love and life are stronger than hate and death. My wife Candy and I saw the play Wicked this week. It was our third time. The Wicked is just that good. Wicked is the story of two women who lived in the land of Oz. Glenda and Elphaba were both very powerful women. Because of their power, they were labeled as witches. Their life circumstances had conspired in such a way that one was of fair complexion and the other was green. And based on this fact alone, one was judged by others to be a good witch and the other to be bad. And so this is how they treated each other. By the end of the play, though, they finally realized that neither one of them was what other people said they were. Well, just in case there is is someone in your life who you have judged, who you are treating or mistreating accordingly, I really strongly commend this play to you. If all you can do is buy the soundtrack or just download one song, I commend especially the final song. This song was written to express Glenda and Alphaba's true feeling as they see each other for the very last time. The title of the song is For Good. Just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood, like a ship blown off its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a bird in the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. May it be so for us. Amen.